Today, we're going to make sock puppets.
Some assembly required.
Hi! And welcome back to our channel. The other day, we had the fantastic idea of making sock puppets, and it was so fun and really kind of easy. So we thought that that would be something that anyone could do while they're at home looking for things to do. All you really need are a sock, a needle and thread, maybe a button, or some googly eyes, or even probably a marker. You could draw on eyes with a Sharpie. So, let's get started. All right, so we've gathered our things. We have some worn out socks or socks with no prints. We have some buttons, lots of different colors of buttons. If you don't have extra buttons, you can use other things. You could use probably beads. You could sew on some beads. I have also some floofy pom-poms. These are really fuzzy ones. You could use regular pom-poms. You could use no pom-poms. We have some pins that you can't see. There they are, in case you want to pin something down before you start sewing. We've got googly eyes, which we are probably not going to use, but you could do that if you had an excess of googly eyes that you wanted to try out. Here are some other kinds of socks with no friends and worn out socks. We've got thread that sort of kind of matches with our socks, needles, scissors, and a needle threader. We also have some accessories for our sock friends when they exist. That's really all you need. And the things, like the extra stuff, you could use something else instead. So most people have something like that at home, so
you can go find some stuff if you want and then come back.
Right, so first, we've already got one needle threaded, and here is mine. So I'll thread my needle first. If you have a needle threader and you want to use it, that is certainly fine. I got it. And then if you don't know how to tie a knot at the end of your thread, I just lick my finger, wrap it around a couple times, and roll it off. That usually tangles it up enough to make a little knot. So you are going to work independently. I am going to show a little bit how we made the last sock puppets. So what I sometimes have an issue with as far as sock puppets is, you know, when they talk and they just have like a big open gaping mouth. Actually, that's kind of cute. But so what I did with the last puppet, and I kind of like it, I'm going to teach it to you guys, is basically I ended up kind of tucking, like accordion folding sort of, the sides of the mouth, and that sort of gave him a good smile. So that's how I'm going to do my sock puppet's mouth, and you're going to try something different. So we'll see how that comes out. So I am going to get started. What I also discovered the last time, this is a weird sock and it doesn't like to stay flat. And if you have socks like that and you have pins, you can kind of pin them flat, and you wanted help with that as well, right?
Yeah.
Just throw some pins in there to keep it flat and to keep everything together. But then remember that you have pins there and don't stab yourself. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in from the inside, right at the corner of his mouth, which I have cleverly pinned down so it's hard for me to get to. I might fix my pins. I don't know. I'll
I'm
do
not
it
sure
in the
if it was
middle, I
pinned
guess.
through both. I think it was just pinned through
Was it
this
just
one.
pinned through one?
Yeah.
You can just pin it through one. Apparently that's what I did the other day. So I'm going to go in from the inside. There. I'll stick my needle through the corner of his face. There. And pull it through. You can also go in through the inside of his mouth if you want to. And I'll tie a little knot here so it's nice and tight. Now, you put your needle in and out all the way up to the front of his mouth. So in and out, in and out. Make sure it's where you want it. There. Now you have sort of a ruffle. You pull your needle through. There, so you have it all scrunched up like we used to do with our socks. Then you turn your needle back around, and if it is difficult for you to push it through and you have a thimble, you can do that. Otherwise, you can push it with a fingernail if you're careful. Put it back through, pull it nice and tight, and we'll tie another little knot at the end. There, that's it. That's the whole entire side of the mouth. That's pretty easy. Basically, all you're doing is sewing in and out and in and out, pulling it tight, going back through, tying a little knot. So I'll just tie a couple knots and then do the other side. And what I like to do to hide the end of my thread is kind of poke it in where you're making your knots and then come out a little further away. And you can just snip it over there and your end will be inside the sock if you're not all tangled with your pins, like I am. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Try to make it even, so he has an even mouth. If he doesn't, he's not going to mind, but I'll try. So basically how I'm tying these knots, if you don't know already, is I sew a tiny, tiny stitch, leave a little loop, and I sew back through that loop and pull it tight. Ta-da! All right. So then you take out your pins and see how it works. I have no idea. We'll find out together. Pretty good. I don't know. I like the way that they're more smiley like this. His chin is kind of funny, but it's a sock puppet. It's supposed to be funny. So then for eyes, you can really decide where you want to put them. Like some people like to put them way back here. Some people different places. So what we did the last time is for one puppet, well, for both puppets, we put them really close to the face. So we put them really close to the mouth, kind of here-ish. And I like that look. Sort of, you can see the eyes and the mouth at the same time, which is great. But then for mine, what I did is I sewed the button on to one of these pom-poms. And then I sewed the pom-pom onto his face. And I think that that's awesome. I want to do it again because I liked it. So I'm going to pick out 2 pom-poms and then 2 buttons. Maybe little buttons. Do you know what kind of buttons you want? I don't want to take what you're looking for.
I think I'll have little black ones.
All right.
If there are any. If there aren't black ones, I'll take any color. Oh no, that's too small.
I've got 2 blue ones because he's blue.
Yeah.
Or she. All right. He.
So many different looks you can get.
I think I'm going to use the tiny buttons with the big eyes because that seems funny. Okay, he could have 1 pink and 1 orange.
Yeah, that looks good.
1 pink and 1 orange. And if you don't have these weird fluffy pom-poms, I think I got them at Michael's, but nobody's going to Michael's right now. You could probably make pom-poms with yarn, or you could use, if you had regular pom-poms, like just the regular fuzzy ones. These are basically exactly the same, except they need a haircut. Make sure you tie another knot. Hey, all right. Do you want to talk about how you did it?
I
What was
pretty
your plan?
much just sewed that and that.
So you
it was
sewed
like
along
this.
the edge of the mouse so that it's all sewed down, instead of sewing it to shrink it like we did before.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you like it?
Mm-hmm. Do you think I should get more thread for
Yes.
the eyes?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to work with a thread that's too small because it's just going to be annoying. And then you're just going to run out of thread when you're trying to tie a knot.
And that's not very good.
That's not good. So what I did is I sewed it on to the pom-pom first, kind of through the middle a little because I think it's more dense in there. And then I sewed the pom-pom onto the sock face. I just did 2 stitches from one buttonhole to the other because it just has to stay on. We're not using it as actual buttons. And then I'll do some good knots on the back so you can't see it. Make sure you get into the inside because otherwise you're just sewing through.
This is actually surprisingly easy.
It is surprisingly easy to sew through, which is cool. But also, I don't know, you could fold up a piece of felt or fleece or something like that. You could cut out, you know, if you had black fleece, you could cut out big eyelashes and then sew a button onto that. You can also sew buttons on top of buttons, like if you wanted a big eye with a little eyeball. There are so many options. Since I have this attached, I'm gonna go ahead and sew it on.
How do you sew the pom-pom on?
Sew the pom-pom onto the button?
sock.
Oh, I'm just going in and out. So I've got my fingers inside. I'm making sure that I get through the sock. Coming out over here, and then going back through. You want to only go through your top layer.
Yeah, I'm only going through the top layer.
Yeah, make sure you don't go through your mouth because then you won't be able to get your hand through.
Oh.
So just sew it like on the top. Why are you sewing with your left hand?
I don't...
You are not left-handed. So probably if you're looking for easy, sewing just the button straight on might be easier. But,
Because I couldn't do that.
well, I think you probably could have. It's a challenge. So it depends if you're looking for a challenge.
Oops, I just unthreaded my needle. Is this enough? Thread.
Sure? Maybe?
Should I pull it tighter?
So for the second eyeball, I guess we'll try to make it sort of in the same place as the first one. Are you waiting for something, Mr. Sockman? Mm-hmm. I will be right with you. Hello! My favorite part about these is they can wiggle their eyes around. Then, you know, if you had yarn or something, you could also add it on and make hair, especially if you're using a sock that has been worn out in the heel area. Your toe area is out of the way, but heels are still really... You want me to sew it on with this?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll use a smaller needle. Yeah, so if you need to cover up any heel problems, hair, you could make him a little hat, you could cover his entire head with pom-poms. I don't know, there's options. So, here they are. Hello!
Hi.
Great job!
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sure you guys did a great job too. Or you will later. Later? Oh boy. Make sure you train your sock puppets because they can be a little bit cuckoo. might eat things. So, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. We are going to keep on doing these as long as we are bored, which could be a while. So if you're looking for things to do at home, we will definitely try to find things that you might be able to make with what you already have, because we're not going anywhere. So if you enjoyed this, if you like this kind of thing, we're going to keep them coming, and make sure you are subscribed and hit your notification button. And new videos come out on Tuesdays and Saturdays. So keep your eyes out. They're at 9 in the morning. So you can eat them with your breakfast. You can watch them with your breakfast. We hope that you enjoyed this. We had a fun time making them. Okay, we're gonna need to sew that eye on a tiny, tiny little bit more. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye! Is this good? Should I eat it?
It's got a lot of fiber.
Okay.
Oh. Someone's there.
Hello!
Hello. That looks tasty, actually.
Yeah.